Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel if you're already a subscriber of mine. If you're not, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see today and if you want to see more content. I am working on becoming more consistent. Being in like a military family, it's kind of hard doing that. There's so much traveling going on and just so much change in schedules, but I am working on being more consistent with uploading videos and content. So today's video is about microblading the Sierra way. And if you don't know, this Sierra is Sierra Gates from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She is a makeup artist and a micro shading and microblading artist and instructor. So recently, about a week and a half ago, I took her class in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I just did the microblading and micro shading portion of it. She has microblading and micro shading, and then the eyelash extension along with microblading and micro shading, and then just eyelash extensions. Now, I didn't feel the need to do the eyelash extensions because I'm not a licensed esthetician, and I am moving to Georgia, and I did want to make sure that I'm learning a skill that I could actually use and start getting my money back right away. I am in the beauty industry. I've been in the beauty industry for a while, but like I said, being in a military family, you move around a lot and laws change state to state. I chose to do microblading because it's still a part of the beauty industry, and that's what I'm passionate about. I didn't do it just because I know that you can make a lot of money doing it. I did it because I'm actually passionate about it. And moving to Georgia, and which I think is going to be our final destination, fingers crossed, our final destination. And you can do that without having to be an esthetician or a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Georgia. So the class that I took was the micro shading and microblading, and that was $1,200, $100 deposit, and then you paid $1,100 at the door in cash. All three techniques, the micro shading, the microblading, and the eyelash extensions, was $1,800. Just the eyelash extensions was $600. So first and foremost, I paid my deposit. Well, my husband actually paid my deposit, and right away we already had a issue, but on my behalf, and it had nothing to do with the glam shop. My husband paid for it, but when you go to the website, it takes you to PayPal. So when he put in his payment information, it put his name. So right away I called the glam shop and I let them know, hey, my husband paid for it, so it's going to say his name, but it's actually me. And Sierra's assistant Trina, she did her thing and she made sure that it was actually me going on the certificate and everything. And for it to be like so last minute, I think that was a good job. She stayed on top of her job. So I got to Charlotte. If you hear my baby in the background, please forgive me. I'm actually recording in my living room right now, and she's listening to her nursery rhymes and hopefully putting herself to sleep. So get to Charlotte, and the class was running a little bit behind schedule. They were still setting up at the time that the class was supposed to start, which I personally don't mind because I know you hit bumps in the road and unexpected stuff happens. People probably signed up at the last minute. They had to get kits together. I don't know, but I personally don't mind a few technical difficulties. It happens. It's life. They were real professional about it. They did apologize for the delay, so it's not like they were being nonchalant about it at all, and I can appreciate that. When you take the class, they do provide breakfast and lunch, and it's not just something to get you by. Like, you'll actually be able to indulge a little bit and be good and straight throughout the entire class. For the most part, trying to make sure that my microphone is actually plugged in. Okay, for the most part, Sierra is not in the room. Her assistant is the one. Her assistant is the one who actually goes over the semantics and the aftercare instructions and the history of microblading and paperwork. So she's the one who does the majority of the class. She is great, like a cool personality, like just good energy all around. She matched the energy of the class. She wasn't just like, oh, we're just sticking to the book. She did questions and answers. You didn't feel like, oh, I don't want to be the person to ask a question. I don't want to be the person to ask a question. I'll just wait to see somebody. No, she made everybody feel super, super comfortable. Being in the class, I felt like, I ain't know nobody in that class, but I felt like these has been like my high school classmates or something. Like, that's the energy that it gives off. Like, it was a real warm feeling inside of the classroom, and I feel like that's mostly because of her assistant Trina. She's good at her job. I'm just gonna say that and leave it at that. So you get your little booklet of just like an outline. It's like a syllabus, basically a syllabus of the class, just the instructions, aftercare instructions, going over proper protocol, and it's real interactive too. And I've been referring to this material since the class too. And you get to take it home, and it makes for a really good refresher. So it's not like she went over the entire book without going through the entire book, if that makes sense. She didn't have to be word for word, paragraph for paragraph, but I can guarantee everything that was in that book, she made sure she taught it, and she made sure we understood it too. And when she gave us the templates of the health forms and stuff that goes along with giving it to your customers and the forms that they fill out, I actually used that template, and I made copies of them, and that's the template that I'm going to be using, because it literally everything is in there. So she wasn't like, oh yeah, go search on Google or come up with your own thing. She gave us this tool, and I'm going to use it. We get the little booklet, the 30K in 30 days, that basically goes over how to make 30K in 30 days and how to get there, the mathematical breakdown of like your revenue. And that's great too, and I've been following that because I actually want to put it to the test to see if I follow this like verbatim, like how far am I going to get. And that's just a little test that I want to do myself, you know. So as I said before, Sierra isn't in the class majority of the time. She was probably in the class the last 2 hours, and that's when we went over the microblading and microshading, 2.5 hours. So her assistant teaches the history and the semantics and tell us what supplies we'll need, what we will want to buy. She goes over that. She goes over the technical stuff, and Sierra shows you the process. So first, when Sierra first came into class, she made sure that everybody knew at least how to outline eyebrows. She came to every single person. It was more than 30 people up in the class, and she made sure she came to every single person to make sure that they were getting it. And I honestly grew a new respect, kind of, because you'll be thinking like, she ain't really gonna, probably interact with us much. Nah, you wouldn't even know that, this is somebody that I watch on TV every Monday, or whenever Love and Hip Hop come on. But she was really in her groove and in her element when teaching, and that was great. Now, I will say, speaking on the whole Love and Hip Hop thing, I would not solely take this class just because it's Sierra giving it. That is not why I took this class. I'm about my points. That's why I took this class. I took this class because her way and her technique was superior, in my opinion. And especially for the cost, too. There were other people coming to Charlotte around that time that had a similar cost, but it was 2 and 3 days type of thing. Sierra's is just a 1 day. So in a way, you gotta do your pros and your cons. Yeah, that's nice and all, but her technique, in my opinion, looks way more realistic, and that goes a longer way with me than just trying to, get a bigger kit or and whatnot. But that's what I'm saying. Don't just choose her. You got to find what you like and look at people's pictures too when you're about to take these classes. You got to find what you like. I liked Sierra's technique. I did not choose to go to this class just because it was Sierra from Love and Hip Hop. And speaking of the cost and, other classes being, longer than this one, the kit that you do get with Sierra's class is really minimal. I don't think that you can do a lot of clients. Well, I know that you can't do a lot of clients straight off the bat with her kit. You're going to go through them quick, and you have to use like new tools every person. Every client, you have to use a new sterile tool. You're not going to get a lot out of this kit. However, again, I went for the technique, not for the kit. But that was that was something that, us as classmates kind of discussed. Like, I thought I'd be getting a little bit more for it to be $1,200. Like, I thought I'd be getting a little bit more. You see so-and-so about to come up here. They kit way bigger than that and blah, blah, blah. So you don't get a micro shading pen with this class. You just get the pen. But you have to exchange out a new blade every single time. So that is like a con for me, is that her kit is really, really minimal. And especially for it to be one day, I think you could kind of compromise and give like a bigger kit. But, at the end of the day, you are kind of still paying for the name because she is a celebrity. She's on TV every year. So, you're kind of paying for the name too with that. I would say the class was a good investment for me. Some people might not think so just because of the kit size, and I know a few of my classmates kind of felt like that, like because of the kit size, they kind of got frustrated at the end. But she gave us a list of things to buy. She gave us like the Amazon links, even her brand, she has her own pigments and whatnot. And when you take the class, I keep saying, I'm sorry, y'all. They say that you get a year worth of, what is the word I'm looking for? They'll still stick with you for at least a year. So if you have questions, if you did not feel like you got anything out of the class that you attended, and there's another class coming towards you and you want to attend that one, if that class is not filled up, she'll let you come sit in that class again. And I think that's pretty dope, and I think that's pretty cool, because I don't know too many classes, they'd be like, well, I don't think that I learned this process right. And they'll be like, okay, so pay for another class. No, she'll let you sit in another class if it's not full, and I think that's wonderful. And I did actually put that to the test. I called support. That's the word I was looking for. You get support for a year. So I sent her assistant an email, and the next day she sent me her number and was like, call me. She gave me all the information that I needed. It wasn't cookie cutter. It wasn't shying away from my question. It wasn't rushed or anything. She gave me like some real, like I'm on the phone talking to one of my friends, like some real advice. And I think that was dope. That was wonderful. I think that both Sierra and her assistant are truly genuine and are truly passionate about the microblading process and teaching it. And then that's the other thing. When you take the full glam class, that's the $1,800 class, and that includes the microshading, microblading, and eyelash extension. Sierra does not teach the eyelash extension part. She has somebody that works at her shop teach that part. So when I say that Sierra's actually in the vicinity for just a short amount of time, she actually is. But in that short amount of time, she is very hands-on, and she's there, like she's with the process, and she's there, and I can appreciate that. So like about 5 to 6 hours of the class is learning, where you're learning throughout the whole thing, but like learning and I don't want to show the material because I don't think that she would appreciate that. If I was her, I probably wouldn't appreciate that either. But you're like going through the material, and then the last 2 hours you're actually executing it and practicing on the practice skin, and she's telling you yay or nay. And when she went through the people, she was like, if I told you need a little bit more help, come up here with me. So she wasn't like, no, not good, working it a little bit more. If she felt like you needed a little bit extra help, she made sure she gave you that extra help. And that's wonderful, you know. I'll be doing another video letting you guys know how the process is going. We're actually packing up. We're about to be moving to Georgia in about a week and a half, and I'm gonna keep y'all updated with that too. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me, comment if you do have other questions that, if it's something that I didn't cover, because I'm pretty sure I there's some stuff that I didn't. But if you have any questions, comment. I'll try to get to your comments and reply to you, answer some questions, because like I said, I took the class, and when I was looking for reviews, I didn't see any. But then when we were in class, everybody was like, damn, when I was online trying to look up reviews, I couldn't find any. So here's my token for the culture, so make sure you comment, like, dislike if you don't like it. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and thank you for watching my video.